Good morning, everybody. It is a beautiful day. Welcome to the Fasce Cast, your weekly podcast of everything football. We have fantasy even though it's over, predictions, bets, news, you name it. It's all here. Every single Thursday morning at 8 a.m., we will be on the YouTubes at the Fasce Cast. And today, I'm joined here by the Fast Brothers. Welcome, everybody.
Woo!
How goes it? First round of the playoffs in the books. NFL playoffs. The season's like at the end here. What the heck happened?
Yeah, well, some balls were thrown, some balls were caught, some balls were dropped. My balls dropped a while ago. But yeah, that's about it, I think.
Count yourself lucky.
Yeah, I know, right? But anyways, this week, we got to kick it off with what we always do. We gotta do these betting odds spreads. And wild week 1, wild card round. Chargers Texans, what happened? Oh my God. Steelers Ravens. Wow, what happened? So surprised. Broncos Bill. Oh wow, what happened? So surprised. Eagles Packers. Yeah. All right. I mean, come on. It's not the Cowboys, obviously. Bucks Commanders, great game. Was game of the week. It turned out. Justin got that one called. Rams Vikings. Oh wow, what happened there? Samuel Darnold. Oh man. But anyways, that was last week. Now this is this week. Let's get into these betting odds. Starting off Saturday night, Houston Texans, Kansas City Chiefs. Yeah, I mean right now the Chiefs are favored at -8.5. Playoffs in Arrowhead. We all know how that works. And yeah, I mean this certainly is a game I honestly thought I would be seeing the Chargers over in this kind of scenario here, but we have the Texans. Did they look a little bit better? Maybe. Was it Justin Herbert absolutely crapping the bed and throwing more interceptions in one game than he had all season when it actually mattered? Yeah, it could have been that. But yeah, I think the Texans have a chance to make it close. But I still just don't have that much faith in them, seeing as how the last half of the year went. And I know the Chiefs had basically 3 bye weeks straight in a row not playing, but I don't think that's going to matter in this case. In Arrowhead, Patrick Mahomes, obviously, and I don't want to sound like Chris Collinsworth, but he is a playoff guy. He's been here, done that. So I think he's going to be a little bit more calm and composed, and I think the defense is going to carry him all the way. And so give me the Texans spread at +8.5, but I think it's a comfortable Kansas City win.
I'm on mostly the same boat. Whatever's going on there, I would have actually loved to see the Chargers here because they kept it close in the regular season. The Texans got destroyed by them, and I think that's why the spread is so high here because they already played, and the Texans didn't even have a chance. And the Chargers, I think if they had another shot at this would be a game. This would be one that we'd have to keep an eye out. But a couple things going in is the 3 weeks, the 2 weeks and 6 days off of no starters. Is that going to be a factor in the first half? We'll have to find out. We got to watch. We got to tune into the game and find out. Are they going to get out to a slow start? Texans get an early lead. Is that going to rattle them? I don't think so. And actually, I think they're gonna crush them again. -8.5, unfortunately.
So it's interesting we're talking about the time off that the Chiefs had back. It was around Christmas time because they had a Christmas Day game. They had 3 games in the matter of a week and a half or something like that, and they won every single one of those games. Time off is a really, really weird, I guess, complex for me right now in regards to the Chiefs. They had all that time off prior to this game. What that does for a team, it gets them rested. But I mean, we saw literally the opposite. The Chiefs had the quickest turnaround 3 games of any team in the NFL this year, and they won every single one. Is it going to be the same thing with the time off? Who knows? I mean, the Chiefs are a really weird team this year. They've obviously only lost 1.5 times, and I say a half because they played 0 starters the last week of the season. The Texans, though, I mean, I really thought that the Chargers, like Brother said, were really the best chance at giving the Chiefs a run for their money this year in the playoffs. Ended up obviously losing, so they got the Texans. The spread at 8.5. I like taking the Houston Texans spread because, like Caleb said, they did look better. I guess it's just up to C.J. Stroud in his sophomore year. You know, everyone talks about the sophomore slump. Jordan Love is already out. You got C.J. Stroud kind of hit a slump. So, I mean, we'll see. But I'm going to take the Texans 8.5. I would love to take their money line for the Whoopsie Daisy, but it's playoff Chiefs, and we know a certain set of individuals have a little something in their pocket in case things go wrong for the Chiefs. So, give me the Texans 8.5.
Alrighty. On to the next game, I suppose. We got our 8 o'clock matchup here: the Detroit Lions and the Washington Commanders. Uh, right now, it is favored -9.5 for the Lions at home. Ford Field. It's it's a tough place to play, and the Commanders taking out my personal father, Baker Mayfield. Long live the king, daddy himself. What a great man he is. It's so sad to see him leave. But I love to watch him leave, if you know what I mean.
Okay, buddy.
Anyways, yeah, right now, Lions favored -9.5 at home against Commanders, and I think this one is going to be kind of a wash, I think. Lions are here to play. I think they definitely, after watching the Vikings play, I think the Lions definitely deserve the #1 seed. And I think we're going to see it here. I think they're going to bring everything to this game. Washington Commanders, I mean, barely scraping by. I mean, literally a doink away from OT. And yeah, I think they're going to bring it all this game. The Commanders, even during the regular season, kind of struggled and lost, I think, most of their games against playoff caliber teams. They're kind of the I'm going to beat on the bad kids kind of team. Not to knock any of their success because they are a great football team. They played phenomenal to get to their record of 12-5. But the Detroit Lions are a different breed. I think they're going to come out swinging and banging. So give me the -9.5 for the Lions.
What can we say about the Commander season this year, except nothing short of absolutely fantastic? Rookie QB, winning a playoff game, brand new head coach from the Dallas Cowboys, by the way, because we're the best NFL team. This is a fantastic year. And how many years has it been since they've won a playoff game? What was it, like, what were they saying, like 14 years? Maybe we can boop on that. But it has been a long time since we've even had a discussion about the Commanders in the postseason. So this is absolutely nothing short of a successful year. Unfortunately, it will end this week, and yeah, I just don't see any way that they're gonna win in Detroit against the Lions, and I'm actually gonna take the -9.5 as well. But Jaden Daniels, my gosh, like he's looking under a pressure game, high intense, like hot seat game. He showed up. I think he played very, very, very well. And if this was like a regular season, like solidifying rookie of the year case, he wins it in this game. But yeah, it played well. Game of the week last week, field goal win against the Bucks. Great playoff win, and you're gonna end the season, and not as like a. I mean, it's honorably because the Lions are the toughest team in the league, so it's an honorable departure from the playoffs. I don't see them winning the game at all. But who knows? We can be surprised. That's why you play the game. I've seen some freaky things happen in the playoffs, but yeah, if I was betting, uh, don't bet Commanders.
That is indeed. This was the Commanders' first playoff win since the 2005 season.
Yep.
And a fun fact for this as well: David Montgomery is expected to return and play this week as well.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, he got some of that Dan Campbell motivational juice right into his veins, so now he's ready to go.
Could you imagine how much money Dan Campbell's bone marrow is going for?
Wait, what?
Just thought of that. Like if he could donate his bone marrow, just say to Aiden Hutchinson, he's probably got some magical stuff in that bone marrow.
I don't even know what
Okay.
that means, to be honest. Like, bone
If there
marrow.
were any human on the planet that had magical bone marrow that would heal his players, it's Dan Campbell.
What? Oh, yeah, why did you think of that?
I don't know. It's very late. I'm at work right now, and I don't know, man. This place is melting my brain. But
And I have an answer to that.
Oh,
dude,
Bone marrow can be sold for $3,000. So,
Huh.
yeah.
Looks like I have a
well,
new job.
did you look up magical bone marrow? But anyway,
we're
yeah,
getting
we're
borderline space beans here.
Garbanzo
Garbanzo
space
space
beans.
beans.
Yeah, this is
Uh,
borderline that
Bone marrow.
conversation.
Yeah. So back to the real stuff here. No magical bone marrow anymore. Yeah, we're kind of all on the same page here. It's incredible to see what a rookie quarterback is doing for a franchise that nobody expected to get this deep into the NFL season. It's very admirable. Like brother said, it's a crazy season. It's awesome to see something like this for the Commanders. But as everyone kind of already knows, I mean, the bye week really probably helped Detroit's bangs and bruises and stuff. Obviously, David Montgomery is expected to play. How much snap share he gets is yet to be seen, obviously. Maybe it's a little bit more in Jahmyr Gibbs' favor. But that's a really huge element to add to the offensive side, which I think helps the spread get to where it is. And I'm going to take it at 9.5. Detroit is just one of those teams. You know, I was really set on the Bucks playing well, moving on, playing the Lions. I think that would have been a better matchup, but they just didn't get it done, obviously. But yeah, Detroit 9.5 is what I'm going with. And
Yeah,
Dan Campbell's magical bone marrow.
you would have thought the Bucks would win, but you should have listened to the podcast when I told you last week that
I should
we're
have.
gonna win this one. But moving on, Sunday, the actual football day, 3 o'clock. We start off with the Los Angeles Rams making it through, beating the 14-win Minnesota Vikings against the Philadelphia Eagles. Who, I mean, last week they won the game. They had like 6 turnovers, but only put up 22 points. Something to be a little bit concerned over is the Philly pass offense. I mean, is it just the fact that Green Bay's defense was that good? I mean, trust me, it is very good. Or is it something else? Something to look at there. And the Rams, coming through, beating the Vikings again for the second time this season. They look like a playoff team. I mean, they're still a young team. They kind of always somehow manage to find their way in. I think Sean McVay there is a fantastic coach. I think that's a big part of it. And also veteran QB Matthew Stafford, of course, he's a very big part of it. And playoff Puka Nakua. Oh man, what a sight! But yeah, I think that's a very solid team. I think the Eagles still are a very solid team. I think they struggled a lot though against Green Bay because I think that Green Bay's defense came to play. Unfortunately, their offense didn't. But I think their offense is going to look a little bit better this week against the Rams. Um, and yeah, I'm going to go ahead and take the -6 here for the Philadelphia Eagles at home. I like I said, I think their defense is just going to come out. They're going to shut down a lot more of the passing offense that the Rams have, and I think their offense is going to look a little bit better here because I don't think the Rams' pass defense is as superb as the Green Bay Packers. And so, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and take the -6 for the Eagles. And I'm sorry, LA, but your time is done.
I'm going to take the +6. I'm going to take the +6 for the Rams. I do think the Eagles are going to pull out the win, but I think it's going to be a little bit closer. And the thing that I thought, like, the Philly was like the hottest team coming into the postseason, and I think it is a little bit of a concern. Turnovers and the way the offense looks, and I don't care who's on defense on the other side. Jalen Hurts has been a question mark pretty much the whole season. How many? I think he threw for like not even 200 yards, and I think that's the anchor. To be honest, is their passing. But the very plus side for the Eagles is they don't even need to throw the ball. It's old school classic football, win at the line, run the ball, and defense wins championships. And that's what the Eagles have. Literally, I don't think they need a quarterback to walk on the field. They just need Saquon Barkley back there, which has been their offense this year, which is hard for me to bet against, but also raises the concern of the Jalen Hurts thing, which is why I'm going to have the spread at +6. Eagles still winning, but man, the Rams showed up. But I think they're one of those teams like you. They go to a different mode. They lock in when it becomes playoffs. Cause they turn into a different team. And yeah, I think they look pretty good. And either it was a Vikings fraud thing or the Rams just showed up and or a little bit of both. So that's what I got in this game, and I'm definitely right. But yeah, give me Rams +6.
I like the Rams. I don't like the fact that they have to go up against Saquon. I mean, he's definitely in the MVP candidate discussion. And I mean, I don't think Saquon has ever played in the playoffs. And I think he has a little bit something to prove. He's got a little chip on his shoulder, obviously, with New York not wanting to pay him. He is basically the heart of that offense. And like brother said, Jalen Hurts is a question mark. I didn't really love Jalen Hurts to begin with in the beginning of the season. We obviously discussed that. Now the Rams, their record at 10-7, 4 of their losses came in the first 5 weeks of the season when they were all banged up, obviously without Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua, respectively, for a certain amount of time. Did not help them, but I mean, the rest of the season, 3 other losses, and in the playoffs, they went to work against a very good Vikings team, and they really showed out. They did not even playing at home. They were in Arizona. Obviously, they got moved from LA to Arizona because of the fire situation, and they showed up. They showed out, and I feel like LA has a little bit more to play for than any other team in the NFL right now. I don't. It's very hard for me to say that they're going to beat the Eagles just because of Saquon, and that's the only factor. Well, their passing defense is obviously pretty good. But I mean, you have weapons all over the place. Matt Stafford is just that guy. He's got experience. He's got a ring. He's got everything you need in a playoff quarterback. So, I mean, it's still questionable whether Jalen Hurts is going to be able to get it done in playoff time. Obviously, made it to the Super Bowl a couple years ago. Ended up losing to the Chiefs. But I like Matt Stafford. I like the Rams. So for this game, give me the whoopsie daisy. The LA Rams winning the game against the Philadelphia Eagles.
What?
You guys want to know something really cool about the Vikings?
They lost.
No, no, no.
That is pretty cool.
The Vikings only lost 3 games in the whole season, and obviously their 4th coming last week. But they lost to the Lions, and then the following week they lost to the Rams, and then they won 9 straight in a row. and then they ended their season by a
Oh,
loss to the
wow.
Lions, and then a loss to the Rams.
That's interesting.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. But yeah, like literally banged out 9 in a row. And then you hit the Lions. Well, here we go again. Same exact teams that took them out in the middle of the season and at the end of the season. But
There's a beat boop off of Brandon and Saquon Barkley. This was actually his third playoff game. His second playoff win. In 2022, the Giants went to the playoffs, beat the Vikings in the wild card, where Saquon went 9 for 53 and 2 touchdowns, and then lost to the Eagles, going 9 for 61 and no touchdowns.
Hmm.
Only 9.
9 carries for. Yeah, I was gonna say 9 carries for Saquon in playoff is kind of
Yeah, what are they doing?
He's gonna have at least 21 for like 150.
yeah, he's gonna have way over 20, I think. What's
No,
a betting line?
more than likely.
Is there carries for Saquon in this game? I guess it doesn't matter, but yeah, he's the offense.
Yep.
He is. But anyways, on to the game that really matters. And yes, this is the game of the week. No, not even the clap. This is just he's Texans Chiefs. Who cares? Swifties, we were gonna win. We already knew that when the season started. Commanders Lions, it's a wash. Whatever. Rams Eagles. It could be interesting. But let me tell you, there's a reason why this is the last game. 6:30 Sunday night. Oh man, this is like a second coming of the Super Bowl. Buffalo Bills in Buffalo against the Ravens. We got the rematch. We got the 2 MVP candidates coming up against each other. And no, I'm not talking about Lamar. I'm talking about Derrick Henry and Josh Allen, of course. And yeah, it's going to be a good game for sure. There's a lot. Well, I can't say there's not much I can say about this game. There's a lot I can say about this game. But I'll keep it kind of short here. Ravens, their defense. Everyone was like, wow, their defense really flipped around. They went from like the worst passing defense to the best in the last few weeks. Yeah, well, they played the Steelers. They played the Browns. They played poopy Giants. They played a bunch of poop at the end of their schedule. And now going against the Bills, we're gonna really see what it's like, what their defense is like. I predict the Bills are gonna drop 40 points on them. They're not coming to play around this game. As for the beginning of the season, I'll let that one slide. I mean, it wasn't our best game for sure, but now we're coming back with vengeance. We're at home. I think this is gonna be a much different atmosphere. I predict 2 interceptions for Mr. Lamar Jackson himself. That's just my prediction. I predict the Bills are going to win this game by over 20 points. That's also my prediction. Hot take, maybe. I mean, the Ravens are favored right now. Want to know what the last time what happened when the Bills were underdogs at home? Yeah, they absolutely slapped the Miami Dolphins. And I'm pretty sure, if I'm remembering correctly, you also thought that the Miami Dolphins were going to beat the Bills in that game in Buffalo. Well, guess what, guys? It's not going to happen. The Bills are going to come loud and proud. We're going to absolutely stomp these little birds, these tiny little teensy weensy little Ravens. Yeah, no, we win this game by 20. Give me the Buffalo Bills money line.
Well,
I feel
yeah.
like there was a little bit of emotion behind that.
Yeah, I was gonna say you guys are gonna be. This is gonna be the biggest game you've
Oh,
ever
but
played of the year.
yeah, but also one thing, if Derrick Henry has any sort of rushing stat for over 200 yards, take the over, please. It's gonna happen, but it's fine.
Yeah, this is. I think we were all. Everyone on the planet knows this is the game to look forward to in the divisional round, and my gosh, I think it's gonna be a really good one, guys. This is gonna be like a edge of your seat. Oh my God, this is the Bill season on the line type game. And I think the Ravens win the Super Bowl this year. Give me the Ravens -1.5.
All right, well, we really don't care what you have to say. So
Agreed. He's off the show. I'm sorry, he's not here next week.
This is the battle of the MVPs. This is like this. Honestly, this should be the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I don't think this would be anyone would have a problem with these two teams. If this was the Super Bowl, this is the Super Bowl of the week. So yeah,
The Super Bowl of the week.
it's gonna be crazy.
Not even game of the week, the Super Bowl of the week.
I mean, playoff Derrick Henry looks scary. He already was scary. Lamar, all the question marks we had going in. I don't know. He had a comfortable matchup. He played the Steelers his third time playing them this year. Does the playoff postseason Lamar come out? Does it happen this week? I don't think so. I think he's locked in. I think he's gonna prove all the haters wrong, and I just gotta take it. I gotta take the Ravens. I'm sorry, brothers.
No, you're not. Here's what I have to say about Mr. Lamar Jackson. Playoff Lamar is a big question mark right now. Obviously, beating the Steelers, no offense, Nicholas, is not that heavy of a feat. We all kind of knew that was happening the way Pittsburgh played at the end of the season. We all kind of saw it coming. And obviously, Pittsburgh with Russell Wilson, who last year played absolute doo-doo bonker balls for the Broncos. We really kind of knew what was happening there. Now, Mr. Lamar is going into Buffalo, which is a very, very, very hyped up atmosphere right now. We all kind of know what's happening here with Buffalo. We can all kind of see it happening. We feel the intensity behind every game. The MVP is playing lights out. He's on a mission. He's ready to take the Bills to the Super Bowl. And I don't think Lamar is going to be – this is a crazy statement. I don't think he's going to be able to handle the pressure in Buffalo with the Bills Mafia going crazy for 60 minutes. I don't see Lamar playing that well this game. Obviously, if that's the case, it's going to fall on Derrick Henry. And if that's the case, I'm kind of scared. But I'm taking Buffalo money line. It's not biased, even though it is. But Buffalo's a very hard place to play for any team. Playoff atmosphere, snowballs will be flying. Bills Mafia is going to go crazy. They might even rip the stadium down with how loud and vicious they get. You know, they're getting a new stadium anyway, so why keep this one? You know, burn it to the ground. High intensity game. This is the AFC Super Bowl, 100%. Nobody really cares about next round. This is the game. This is the Super Bowl. Give me the Bills money line, and like Caleb said, I think they drop a lot of points. 40's kind of crazy, but
you guys are gonna.
I think Josh
all week. It's gonna be like a high nervous game for you guys. Let's not forget, by the way, this was a matchup early in the year, and you guys got absolutely smoked.
All right, buddy.
I'm just gonna point that out. I'm just gonna throw that out there. You know, I have to get my little jabs in because you've been doing it to me all year. So,
well, at least we're in the playoffs. We can talk about our team.
It's just like little like that. That's what I'm talking about.
Well, here's the thing I'll say about that too. I do want to mention that this is probably the worst matchup for us. I think if we can beat the Ravens here, I think we're going all the way. Like literally, I think this is our hardest game. It doesn't matter what happens in any other part of any other game. I think if we beat the Ravens here, I think we're going to the Super Bowl and we're winning it. What I'll say about this is the Ravens, they're okay, maybe the Eagles too for Saquon, but the Bills are just not entirely built for the run game. I mean, we have a lot of not that heavy guys. I mean, our D-line isn't fantastic. Our pass rush isn't great, which makes me think, that's why Derrick Henry ran for 4 million yards against us the first game. But like I said, playoff Bills, it's going to be a lot different. And plus, we got Matt Milano, who is our best rush defender, our rush linebacker. He's the one that makes the plays across field, makes those tackles for us, just because he's a big guy. And obviously he was injured in that game against Baltimore, and he's coming off a injury, or two injuries. He's been out for basically the last 2 years almost, and he'll be back, or he is back, but he'll be back for this game. And last week against the Broncos, he started to show his pre-injury colors. I mean, he was running across the field making tackles. There was one on Bo Nix where he ran all the way across the middle, stayed with him. I mean, Bo Nix he's still a spry guy. He's a rookie, he's moving pretty quick, but even old Matt Milano was able to run and catch up to him and make a tackle, which resulted in him punting eventually. So yeah, I think he's going to be a very big factor. I think if he shows up, along with our edge to keep Lamar in, stop his scrambles, I think we're going to take this all the way for sure. But
also, Zay Flowers is a question mark for this game, which adds a little bit of an element of Lamar's passing game being degraded a little bit, but we'll see.
I think
very true.
The run, especially with not only Derrick Henry but Lamar too, where he could just take off at any point. They're gonna have trouble with that, and that's why I think the Ravens are so good. It's because they have an MVP quarterback and an MVP running back, and they both can run. And with that coach and the playbook, it makes defense very hard, very very hard.
Yep, and we play nickel most of the time, which also isn't great. Which is why I said, once again, this is our toughest matchup. Obviously, this is the game I'm most nervous for, and like I said, if we win this game, I think we're going all the way for sure. But
we didn't even get to say it though. We do it every week. But game of the week. Okay, we can go to the next. Sorry.
I mean, no, it's not game of the week. It's Super Bowl of the week. Remember?
Super Bowl of the week.
All right, but yep, that's for this week. Lock in the bets if you want to. If not, don't. I guess. I mean, I can't really force you. Yeah, right. So don't listen to me or don't listen to them or don't. It is. It's all up to you. It's your money, right? I'm not pointing anything at you. All right, it's your money. But anyways, let's just talk a little bit about the games last week. Right, it's playoffs. Obviously, we don't have that many pick'em games to talk about, so got to fill up the time somehow. Is there anything that really surprised any of you last week? Like any games? I mean, anything at all that really surprised you? Any teams that are here now that surprised you? Anything at all? I mean, you got anything, Justin?
I don't really think surprised. The only thing a couple of things like that surprises the Viking showing. That was a surprise that. Like, where'd they go?
Gotta listen to the podcast.
Like that was the only wild card's gonna be wild card. You have the expectations of who's gonna win. 7 seed. It happens every single time. But yeah, I guess the biggest one is, and what I think the Vikings' fault was losing the game to the Lions in Week 18, and now they had to go away to all the way to the West Coast. To play the Rams. I think that away game really did it in for them, and they just kind of fell apart. I don't know. And I guess the other one, I was expecting the Chargers. I don't know. I guess the Texans just decided to play all of a sudden. Everyone goes into playoff mode, and it wasn't even like a. It was like a comfortable win for the Texans. There's no doubt. They were in control the whole game pretty much. So maybe they'll give the Chiefs a little run. Who knows? But yeah, I guess those are the only two really factors. But nothing too crazy. It's a wild card. What I do expect is something crazy to happen this week that no one's gonna, like the Commanders beating the Lions or something. That would be nuts.
That would be insane.
And I think something like that may happen. we
You
haven't
always want the best matchups in the playoffs, but like also to see something like that happen would
we
be.
haven't seen anything like crazy like that, and I think it happens at least. It's got to happen like once a year. So
Yeah, the Chargers is one of the games that really surprised me. I was, like I said earlier, really hoping for the Chargers to move on because, like I said, I think they would have given the Chiefs the best run for their money. But like brother said, who knows? Texans decided to play football. Maybe they do it again next week and take out the Chiefs in Arrowhead. That'd be cool. I think the Bucks losing. I mean, that was a great game. Game of the week for sure. Last week in the wild card round, I was really expecting the Bucks to kind of go crazy. I mean, in Tampa, you know, Baker's a dog. He's that guy. He just fell short, obviously, against the Commanders, who a lot of people didn't think were going to make it to the playoffs at the beginning of the year. It's really, like I said, it's really cool to see Jaden Daniels doing what he's doing. Uh, but man, I was kind of hoping to see Baker move on and play a really tough team because I think that's where he thrives is against the tough competition. It puts another level to his game. Those two games definitely were, I think, the real like wows of the week. Um, the Rams and Vikings, though, I mean, I knew. I'm pretty sure a lot of us knew. I put my faith in Matt Stafford over Sam Darnold literally any day of the week forever for the rest of my life, 100%. Even when if Matt Stafford is still 45 playing football, I would still take him over Sam Darnold any day. I mean, Sam Darnold had a great season. Yeah, he did. He doubled his uh high like career high in wins, uh career high in touchdowns. I'm pretty sure was doubled or even over doubled. But we all kind of do. The Rams are just they can be offensive juggernauts whenever they want to be, and they really showed out against the Vikings. And their defense was nuts. 9 sacks against the Vikings
that's what
is
I was.
wild.
Yeah, their defense was like went off. Like they went crazy that game.
And I think the combination of the defense going off last game as well as their tendency to go crazy on offense is going to bode well for them if they keep that up this week. I mean, like I said, I think the Eagles might be in for a tough run this week. So we'll see. We'll see. But yeah, those two games were shocking.
Yeah, I think the big shock to me was just how bad Justin Herbert was. I mean, going from the least interceptions that he's ever had as Terry, right? Like he was putting up a record number of consecutive dropback passes without an interception, um, only to then throw what was it, 3 or 4 in that one single playoff game when it really matters against a struggling Texans team. I don't know. I mean, I knew the Texas defense was good, but I don't know. I think that was like the big like, wow, what is going on to me? Um, I mean, I knew the Bucks, and the Commanders game was going to be a toss up, but I don't know. They're two great teams. That was kind of a toss up. I just kind of leaned towards the Commanders on that one, just gut reads kind of thing. Um, and yeah, I mean the Rams Vikings game. Um, that one, I just I go ahead and look at every single week of the pickums. I'm pretty sure I bet against the Vikings almost every single week just because I had no faith in them. And then playoffs. I did it again. Why not? Full send, and it worked out this time. I think the Rams are a solid team, and yeah, I mean the sacks and it was just insane. Jared Verse with the fumble recovery touchdown. That was also pretty cool. But yeah, I mean, I think the Rams came out to play, and yeah. Speaking of Sir Samuel Darnold, what do you get? What should they do with him? I mean, they got JJ McCarthy. Obviously, they just picked him up for the year to see what they could do. Obviously, he was out. JJ McCarthy was out for the year, so he ended up being the starter the whole entire year. So what do we think? What do you think they're going to do with him, especially after the playoff flunk there? And I mean, week 18 and the playoff flunk. What do you think they're going to do with him? Do you think they're going to re-sign him, give him another chance, maybe? Or do you think they're just going to go full risk with their rookie quarterback now? Justin?
They are 100% going to go with J.J. McCarthy. And here's the tough part. No matter what you do next season, it's going to be a step backwards. They're not going to repeat this year. So it's going to look really bad for them. And this is like a horrible situation for JJ as well. Because no matter who they put back in there, they're not going to win 14 games again next year. So it's like, oh, you should have kept Sam Darnold 14. It's going to be a step backwards going into the next year. And I don't see any reason. I think it comes down to literally the two most important games that the Vikings had all year were a complete disaster. And who do you? I mean, you kind of have to look towards the quarterback, I would think. I think their best bet is JJ, put him in next year, full ride it, and just build off that. And no one expected the year that Sir Samuel had this year. I think a lot of that has to do with the great coaching and play calling that the Vikings have. I think you ride with that. And now this is kind of like a veteran situation, but not really. For he got to sit back and watch the whole year play out. This might actually be beneficial for him coming back. I don't think they get rid of him. I don't think any trades. I think Sir Samuel might find another destination in his journey in his NFL career. Great year for him. But I think the Vikings, and if I was the decision guy there, you got to go with JJ. Put him in, throw him in, ride him next year, and just accept the fact that it's not going to be as good as this year, no matter what you do.
I can get behind that 100%. It is going to be a step backwards. It's very rare that we see a rookie quarterback come into the league. Obviously, this year was amazing for Jaden Daniels. Technically, JJ will be a rookie next year. He hadn't played a single snap, obviously, because of his injury. Sam Darnold definitely raised his stock this year with the record that he had. But you look at it, I mean, just the game against the Rams, when they panned in on him in the camera, he was wide-eyed. He was missing passes, underthrowing people. He really didn't have a playoff mentality. I think he got shook up. He got rattled, and I expected that from Sam Darnold. Obviously, there's teams that need a quarterback that have seen some level of success, and I think this year there's going to be a lot of teams that are looking at it like, he did it with the Vikings. 14 wins is really good. We could use somebody like that. Obviously, he's got experience in the league. But, I mean, like you said, J.J. McCarthy was able to sit on the sidelines, learn the playbook, see how plays developed in the NFL. Even without seeing a snap, that is extremely beneficial. And then you get reps next year with a very quarterback-friendly team. They are very good at developing quarterbacks. And I think that was a huge benefit this year, definitely, to Sir Samuel. But you got to see him gone. You got to see him go to a team that's really struggling to find success in their quarterbacks. And there's a lot of question marks out there for quarterbacks right now. So, but I like J.J. McCarthy coming back, being the starter for the Vikings. They have a sound, solid team. I like Kevin O'Connell. He's a solid coach for that program. And I like J.J. McCarthy coming in and doing what he has to do for the Vikings next year. It would be cool. It would be, I mean, kind of like you said, that veteran role, having Sam as the backup to kind of mentor J.J. McCarthy. But in the same point, this was Sam Darnold's best year, 100% his best year, by far. So I don't really know the value there in a mentorship because he failed at other programs his whole career until he got to Minnesota. So maybe you look at like a quarterback that is a veteran in the league but is no longer QB1 status that can kind of give JJ that instruction and give him the lessons and the mentorship that a rookie quarterback needs. So yeah, Sir Samuel's gone. It'd be cool to see him stay to mentor, but it's his future in Minnesota is done for sure.
Well, you speak of having that mentor, to back you up. I think you're forgetting about the greatest quarterback that they have on their bench right now.
Brett Favre.
Oh, Danny Dimes. Oh,
Danny Dimes.
Oh no!
Yeah.
Did they release him already? I don't know. Maybe.
I don't
Actually, you
think
know
so.
what? That was the downfall of the Vikings. As soon as they signed him,
Right.
everything fell apart.
Right.
That's a good point.
I think he was whispering something in Samuel's ears that just made him crumble.
That's a good point.
It made him 10 times worse. But, I don't know how long he's going to stay there for. I mean, there might be some team that picks him up. They just signed him for the rest of the season, right? I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, yeah, I don't know if he's going to stay. I don't know if he's going to look for something bigger. But, yeah, a lot of quarterback question marks in Minnesota. And, yeah, I agree with Justin. I don't think they're going to have as much success. I mean, they definitely have the talent. Justin Jefferson, if he stays, it's
an incredible.
That's
year.
going to be an incredible person to throw to. Let me tell you, for a rookie, I would love to be in that position. But yeah, really an incredible year for them. No one, not a single person thought that they were going to be a 14-win team this year.
So fell apart in the end. Kind of unfortunate, but.
Yeah, I know, and that's what it sucks, but that's the way it works. You gotta play at the end of the year, and they just kind of fell to the Lions curse where they lose against them, and then the Rams right afterwards. But what can you do? Great year though, for sure. And I am excited to see what they do. See what JJ McCarthy has in store for us next year, if that's the route they go with. And speaking of parting ways with people, let's go ahead and go to the Cowboys, the greatest team the NFL has ever seen, the greatest owner. It's just a great franchise altogether.
I agree with that.
Cowboys split ways with Mike McCarthy. So Justin, this is pretty much just a you question. I mean, obviously Brandon can chime in and say what he has to say, but what do you think about that? I know you had some kind of mixed things, but also you were kind of on the boat of selling the whole entire franchise, deleting everything, starting brand new. Delete everything. I hate the Cowboys. The Cowboys suck. I'm gonna be a Bills fan for the rest of my life. I'm pretty sure you said those words, and you should stick to those words.
Yeah,
And then, so how do you feel about that? Do you think he's gonna? What team do you think he's gonna go play, or do you think he's not gonna coach anymore? Do you think he's gonna be a fry cook at McDonald's? What do you think?
I think he's definitely staying in the NFL for sure. Once you're a head coach, you're a head coach. He's going somewhere like the Bears. They already tried to interview him. I think the Bears obviously have a few people in mind first, but he might falter to their kind of thing.
Well, fun fact about that, actually.
What?
About the Bears interview.
Yeah.
Did you know that, Jarrett?
I know.
You heard about that?
Yeah, which goes into my whole thing. I liked Mike McCarthy as a coach. I think he did fine. I think any coach going in there is going to have the same result. They're not really opened to their full potential, is what was I feel. So no matter who you put in there, it's, in my opinion, not going to really matter until Jerry's gone. That's my my honest 2 cents there. But yeah, I heard talks that they were talking to Deion Sanders, and I knew it's just all a show. It's all to grab attention. Everyone's talking about the Cowboys 2 weeks after the season ends and the playoffs. Like, why? It's all an attention grab. That will never happen. It's all talks. It's going to be the same. It's the same recipe every single year. They grab attention, all this, Deion Sanders, and then it's going to be like, okay, they signed the Titans offensive coordinator. Some guy you never heard of, a safe, classic, just a coordinator pick, no risk. It happens every single time, which I think is exactly what's going to happen again. But yeah, speaking of everything about the decision it's probably comes to an agreement thing because they were probably Mike McCarthy was probably like, well, I want a couple year deal, like 2, 3, 4 year deal, and Jerry was like, well, we're gonna give you another year and that's it. So I think that decision kind of came like non-agreement partway type thing is what I would had to guess, because the timing of it was an absolute disaster. Like they went through all the coaching interviews, like time slot, like the week you were available to, like for the Lions offensive coordinator, for the Ben Johnson, by the way. He was only available because you can't interview him now because he's in the playoffs. So that time has passed. Horrible timing once again. Jerry's waiting. Bears don't what we were about to say before. Bears went to go interview McCarthy, and Jerry didn't let him, and then they release him like the next day. Just absolutely horrible. Like everything about the situation. Again, I don't know what they wait for. The decisions have all consistently been bad after bad after bad across the board consistently. Like there hasn't been one good thing about any situation that I've liked so far. When it comes to off season, it's just a mess. Even waiting to the very last minute, I think before the ref said heads or tails, Dak gets his his contract extension. Like you're waiting literally to the last moment for what, like this was going to happen all along. I don't get like all that waiting, and same thing with a coach change. It's horrible. I think McCarthy's going to find another position. A lot of teams looking for head coach. Maybe he goes to the Jets. Maybe he goes to like a OC Packers. It goes back to the Packers type thing. Or maybe the Bears just say, heck, and pick him up because he's used to that division. He played for the Packers in that division. He's very familiar with it. I don't know how the Caleb Williams thing will work out with that. But yeah, he's definitely going to go somewhere this year. He's a great coach, I think, in my opinion. To be honest, I wouldn't have been that upset if we kept him another year. And now I'm kind of sitting here wondering, like, okay, who's going to coach the team? Jimmy Bob? It's not going to be Deion Sanders. I'll tell you that right now, 100%.
Jimmy Bob.
But yeah, that's what I got to say about it. I'm not particularly thrilled about it, but it's kind of at this point just like, whatever. It's just meh to me. Not good or bad. Yeah, it probably will end up being bad, but not good or bad in the moment right now.
Gotcha. So basically what you're saying is get rid of Jerry.
I think, that's going to be the best thing. He has to let the people do what they do. He's too far involved, and everything is too drama. You just got to play football. Play to win play to win a football game. You have a football team.
Yeah.
Win the.
Do you see
games.
any similarities between this situation with Mike McCarthy and say like someone like Mike Tomlin, the Steelers? Like, obviously, Cowboys have typically had a pretty good regular season, and then obviously when it comes postseason, they kind of have screwed the pooch. And that's kind of the same deal with the Steelers always having that winning record season, but when it comes down to the playoffs, is it kind of like similar like that?
It's hard to tell. I don't know if that's entirely on like the coaching thing. I don't. It's hard to tell. I don't know. It just could be. Maybe it is a little bit. I'm not entirely sure about that. It could be, and maybe that's part of the decision, I guess. in my guess, it was some kind of agreement. He wanted a multi-year deal, and they weren't going to do it. And they said, okay, well, I'll just go somewhere else. I'm like, okay, yeah, that's fine because we're not going to give you a multi-year. So
It's
Yeah.
interesting too that you say Jerry Jones is too involved because there was an article saying that Jerry Jones is the sole person making phone calls, setting up interviews, allegedly. He's doing everything by himself. He's not including anybody in the management team to help pick a head coach. He's literally doing it all himself, which obviously we've seen the destruction that Jerry Jones has brought this franchise. And
it's
it's
been
just a
getting
recipe
worse.
for disaster.
It's been getting worse for sure.
Yeah. And I think Jerry Jones has a complex where he thinks he's better than everybody else because the more that people, especially his fan base, like obviously people are upset that
That's
they're
me.
having the seasons that they're having and they're having the unsuccessful road that they're on right now. And it's just getting worse and worse because he's, I guess, trying to prove people wrong, but he's proving people right. Like year in, year out, it's getting worse and worse. And he's kind of, his complex is not allowing him to step back and really evaluate what the team needs. So he's, like you said, he's messing everything up. He's ruining the franchise year in, year out, and he really just has to, take a step back or down, step down. I don't know. You know,
That'll never happen, unfortunately. But yeah, I
I
agree.
wouldn't say never. I mean, time waits for no man. I'll just say that.
Yeah, yeah, that is true. Yeah, I mean, might outlive me at this point if I keep seeing those years. If you catch my drift, anyway.
Oh my!
Yeah.
I'm telling you, hey, the Bills will take care of you. We'll take care of you for a while. Brandon Bean's been doing a good job, I think. I think he's a good owner over here. So, I mean, if we have a spot open for you, if you ever need one.
um, yeah, I don't think that's gonna happen.
Oh, okay. Well, at least I tried. But that's all the news we got for you this week. Kind of, keeping it short. There's not obviously not that many games, not that much to talk about. Obviously, in the off season, there'll be a little bit more news spreading around. With head coach and openings positions, dropping left and right, who's going where, trades. That's all for the off season though. But right now, playoff football, not much going on besides the games at hand. So that leads us with your favorite time of the week.
It's time for It's Okay, It's Not Okay.
And this week of It's Okay, It's Not Okay, I bring you an event that occurred last week, actually, during one of the games. Is it okay or is it not okay to read a book on the sideline during your game, in the middle of your game? And it's because you only logged one catch for 10 yards. Is it okay to go ahead and read a book in the middle of the game? Yes or no? Justin, what do you got?
Simply enough, if I'm the coach of that team, when I see that happening on my bench, that player will never enter the field ever again as long as I'm coaching that team. And let me tell you why. You got to lock in, especially for the playoffs. Yeah, even if you're on the field for one catch, that's the most important 10 yards of the whole entire game in that guy's perspective. Because this is the playoffs, man. You got to have you got to lock in. Now, it does kind of go on to the other side if that's how you lock in kind of thing. Like you put in like your full effort and, oh man, I just need to take like a 5-minute 10-pager on this so I can lock back in and get back out there and do my other catch for 10 yards. If it's that kind of situation and that's his thing, then that might be okay. But yeah, that's kind of like, in my opinion, super disrespectful to your team. Sit there and kind of, whatever. If you're not going to play me, I'm just going to read my book over here. That's like not okay for me. So, yeah, not okay.
I'm gonna hit this whole thing with a big. It depends. If Buddy is on the sideline reading a book, called How to Catch a Ball for Dummies. That's one thing. If he's reading 50 Shades of Grey, buddy, what are we doing? Does anybody have confirmation on what the book was? Because that'd be interesting.
Boop. I don't
know. Realistically speaking, like brother said, you have to be locked into the game, and if you are, that's a very
imagine if someone gets injured and it's like, all right, you got to go in, and you're just like, oh, hold on, let me finish my chapter.
Yeah, I was gonna say you gotta throw a bookmark in and put the book down and cover it so it doesn't get ruined. Like, come on, buddy.
From NFL.com, the book was called Inner Excellence.
Oh.
And train your mind for extraordinary performance and best possible life.
After the game, it became listed as the #1 on Amazon's best-selling books.
That's hilarious.
Oh, he's doing charity work too.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. So that's why I said it really depends, because a book like that, realistically, it could be like maybe you're a little bit, your brain's a little fuzzy. You're kind of caught up in the moment of this is playoff football, and you need kind of some clarity, and something like that, realistically, can take a little bit of like an edge and smooth it out. I know a lot of people deal with stress different ways. Some people, headbutt their helmet. Some people, punch their family members or something. To do something like that, to read a book to maybe de-stress or decluttify your brain, just for a moment of clarity to kind of relax, maybe a meditation tactic, I would say it's okay. Obviously, you don't spend an extended amount of time. Maybe he was finding a part in the book that, maybe it's like music to him. I know that when I was on the road or before games warming up, I would listen to music. Like certain songs got me, in the mood to rock, and maybe that's just his music. Maybe his meditation method or calming down method or getting hype method is that book of excellence, which obviously didn't pan out so well. But for that, yeah, I would say it's okay. Obviously, depending on the book, that's, in my opinion, a good book to read for a moment of clarity. So yeah, I'm gonna say it's okay.
You know what? I'm glad there's two sides to this too, because I mean, some people, obviously, like you guys brought up some good points. It depends on what kind of book you're reading. It depends on what time you're reading it. I mean, it wasn't necessarily a fantastic game on either side, but I mean, yeah, I mean, the passing game just was not there. I feel like absolutely at that time there could have been more that he could have, he could have exactly what Justin said and locked into the game. You got to get in. I mean, you only have one catch for 10 yards. Obviously, that's not the greatest stat ever, but, it's still one catch for 10 yards, but you got to lock in, buddy. I mean, you're wide receiver one. You got to lock in. So maybe instead of reading the book, there's other things you could be doing, watching film, try to work on something that hasn't been working for you, practice your, I don't know, practice your moves, whatever you got to do. But I will also say, and this is also a good point. He also did a little interview afterwards too, and it was talking that he does in fact bring that book like every week, or so he says. He brings that book every week, and it is for motivational purposes. But I still think it's not. I still don't think it's okay. Like I said before, I think there's some more you can do, especially in the playoffs. I understand if you're using that to get in the right headspace, whatever. But I don't know. As playoff footballs, I feel like you got to find different ways to lock in, and I feel like you have to come motivated instead of motivating yourself on the field. I feel like there's just better alternatives. Obviously, whatever works for him works for him. If it's if he does in fact bring that every single game, all the power to him. Do what you got to do, buddy. But I don't know. I feel like Like I said, even if it was for motivational purposes, if I saw someone sitting down reading a book and not even watching what was happening in the game, I don't think you're locked in. I'm sorry, but I don't think it's okay. Even knowing both sides. But
But
yeah,
before we end this, really quick, are brothers aware of the first head coach signing of technically the offseason for non-playoff teams? Are we tracking that? Do we know what just happened yesterday?
New head coach.
Yeah. And
I'm-
I will say that I did call this last week.
Oh yeah, the Patriots. Yeah.
Yep.
talking about Vrabel.
Yeah, Mike
Didn't
Vrabel.
you say to the Bears though?
No,
No,
he
he's-
interviewed with the Bears, but he has a really good relationship with Robert Kraft because he used to play for the Patriots.
Oh, I thought you guys said to the
So-
Bears.
I think that'll be pretty
No.
good. I think that'll be pretty interesting.
I like Vrabel. Obviously, he was kind of stuck with a Poo Garbo team in the Tennessee Titans, but I like Vrabel as a head coach. He's a good dude. He's a smart guy, and I think with Drake May as his quarterback, who is a very solid rookie quarterback this year, maybe he kicks that team into gear. Maybe we see a little turnaround for the Patriots.
He's probably already
So-
going to work on it.
Yeah, probably.
Also, before we end this, it seems like the Eagles fan that was being a little over the top to the Packers fan in the game. I don't know if you guys saw that or not. Turns out, I think reports are saying that he did in fact lose his job. I think, I think he got fired.
And he's banned for life.
Yep, banned for life from the stadium, which is kind of crazy. So, but you heard the it's okay, it's not okay. Both sides of it. Let us know. Are we still posting those on Twixter? It's okays, it's not okays.
I don't know if I did last week, but and I apologize for that, for not putting the poll out. I know I linked the podcast. Work has been kind of crazy, so I will do my best to stay on top of that. Look for that poll, and make sure to let us know, because this one, I mean, we went, off rip. We had it's not okay, and then we had it's okay, and then we kind of had an in the middle. But so this one, I'm looking forward to posting. Yeah.
Yeah, let us know your definitive answer, whether it's okay, it's not okay, over on the Twixter. But until next week, guys, we are at the Fasce Cast everywhere. Twixter, YouTube. You'll find us here again for the conference championship games. Thursday, 8 a.m. Be here. We're going to cover it. We're going to go over it. We're going to tell you who's going to win and who's going to make it to this year's Super Bowl. But until next week, hope you all have a good one. And that's it.
Oh.